ta ta, I'm in the ghetto. And then there's all these gunshots.
Nah, I ain't see that.
If I see it again, I'll send it to you. He looks so sweet and wholesome. And then he's like,
We live.
oh, are we live?
We're live.
Welcome back to another marriage.
Another marriage. I
Welcome back.
hope
Welcome.
not.
Oh hell no, I'm done. I'm done. If this one doesn't work out, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not gonna date women. I'm not gonna date men. I'm just gonna be with myself. But welcome back to another episode of the Love and Crypto Podcast. I'm your host, Wendy O, and this is my co-host, Hotep Jesus. How are you doing tonight, Hotep?
That Hotep Jesus dude.
Hotep.
What up, Wendy?
How are you?
I'm exhausted.
I am too.
Long day today. Fucking out with the kids, doing shit. And then I had to come straight home and start streaming chess. And now we're streaming Love and Crypto. How do I look? Sexy.
You look very nice. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You want to know something?
What's that?
My hair never does what it's supposed to do.
Because it's dusty.
It's not dusty. It's only like 4 or 5 days dirty, and I wash it at 7. I treat it and I wash it at 7.
Well, what's popping down at Bitcoin Week and what's the name? You got any parties or anything like that we could
Bitcoin Miami? I don't.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. I'm still going back and forth with the client because I'm supposed to do a media piece for them out there, but I don't have the gear they need me to do to make it like dope.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm worried about the quality of it because they want me to live stream on Twitter and on YouTube, which is fine, but I don't have the gear to make it look quality because I don't really do a lot of this live stuff. So I have a call with them to figure it out. And then I have this other company that wants to send me. So I don't know yet, but I'm going to sort it. Whatever it is, I'm going to sort it out.
Let me know. I got a videographer. I'm a book, so I have a videographer following me around when I get down there.
Oh, will you?
Yeah.
Can they do a 10-minute thing for me?
Probably.
Let me know for sure, because if that's the case, then I'll kick you down a little bit. And they could do like a 10-minute thing for me.
Yeah.
They don't even have to edit it. I just need the thing, and I'll send it to my editor.
Yeah. Let me book him. He hit me up. Let me make sure I book him. I don't even know what his name is, or if he's somewhere in my Instagram DMs. I'll find it and lock that down.
Yeah, if that's for sure, let me know, because then I can get him for. I literally need 10 minutes because I don't do the long interviews because yeah, but once
Instagram needs like search for messages, man.
Twitter DMs are bad and Instagram DMs are bad. I keep my TikTok DMs closed because I don't want to be dealing with people over there because the type of questions I get. So. Okay. Well, actually, I'm going to bring it in and then we'll go back because I have to tell you a couple things. So President Biden's executive order on crypto was leaked by U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. It was leaked yesterday at late at night. Like,
give me a link. I need a link.
I post it. It's out today. It's on my YouTube channel. I covered it. I covered it on YouTube. I covered it on YouTube and TikTok.
I need a link.
Because when I see this stuff, I put them out. I put it out as soon as possible because I need my audience to know. I look absolutely.
Hold on. Let me see.
What the? Hold up, it's right here.
Janet Yellen.
It is. It's what happened. I'll send it to you in DMs right now. But they leaked it, and we're going to talk about it. But anyway, I forgot what I was going to. Oh, but anyways.
Janet Yellen inadvertently reveals content of Biden's crypto. So tell us what happened.
All right. So this is what happened. And then I'm going to get back to TikTok and how ridiculous. So basically what happened, Biden has been threatened. Well, the Biden administration has been threatening. And I like to say threatening because that's what they do. They sit there outside of their neck. So that administration has been threatening to regulate crypto. Right. But apparently a Yahoo reporter like a couple of weeks ago said, it's coming out this week. And then Ukraine and Russia went, pew. So they couldn't come out that week, but it came out this week. But it was supposed to come out It was supposed to come out today. Nobody was supposed to know about it, but they posted it on the official website because I have the link in the YouTube short that I did. They posted it. It went live like about 10 hours before it was supposed to go live on the official website. So it got leaked. People on Twitter were posting about it. So I covered it because I read it. And basically on this executive order, what they're going to do, they're going to create a president's working group, which is basically a focus group to learn more about crypto and DeFi, blockchain technology, Bitcoin, stablecoins. And what they want to do is, of course, like the big thing that they're hitting hard on in the release was that they really are concerned about stablecoins, really concerned about stablecoins. And I'll come back to that in a second. But they're also talking about protecting investors. That's all they care about is protecting investors. So they're going to have the FDIC people come in. Exactly. They're going to have the FDIC people come in. They're going to have the SEC, like all these different regulatory agencies come in to oversee, and they're going to have different groups to oversee different things, which I kind of think is stupid because the more people you have doing the same job, it's going to get very, very messy. So I don't understand why they don't just have one sector for digital assets that encompass everything with different subgroups inside. So you don't have to have people from agencies that don't know what they're doing because it's going to get messy. It's going to get confusing. But that's the way the United States government likes to do it. They like to have all these people from all these different places have their hands in the pot and be messing with stuff. And so there's that part. Also, they're going to be hitting hard on stablecoins. They do not like stablecoins. And Gary Gensler has came out multiple times talking about how detrimental stablecoins are because they're like he calls them casino chips. But really, stablecoins are essentially they don't fluctuate. There's not a lot of volatility. So a stable coin should essentially be 1-to-1 by the US dollar. It's supposed to be backed 1-to-1 by the US dollar. But they've done audits on these stable coins, and a lot of these stable coins like USDC, Tether, they do have to comply with certain laws and regulations in the United States already. So they're doing audits, they're filing reports, and they have they have graphs that show you how much of each particular asset class is actually backing these stable coins. And Tether had already gone to court with the NYAG multiple times because they weren't operating and doing things correctly. So they went to court, they were fined, and now they're complying a lot better. But of course, Gary Gensler doesn't like him, and Washington doesn't like him. The banks don't like stablecoins because they undermine the US dollar, and the US dollar is losing money. And the main reason why is we have all these DeFi protocols and platforms, and even on centralized exchanges, where on a centralized exchange, you can leave your cryptocurrency, you can leave your Bitcoin, Ethereum, stable coins. And with the stable coins, you can earn a higher APY back. So basically you can leave your stable coins on this platform and earn up to 10 or 20% back, as opposed to utilizing your bank account, your savings account, where they're only paying you 0.01% or 0.03%. So the regulators don't like that. And they want to deem this passive income back that you're earning from these centralized platforms as a security, and make these companies, these centralized exchanges, pay all this extra money and do all these things to protect investors, when really all it's doing is undermining the US dollar, because the US dollar ain't shit. So that's what they want to control. But we know that we're going to get a CBDC out of this 100%. That's coming. And so that's why they're doing all this research. But the thing about the CBDC is they have already been doing research since like 2018 or 2019. And you can see all this stuff. If you go deep and you have time, you can look up NIST, and they were studying Bitcoin as a form of currency in the United States. There's all these different cryptocurrencies that they've been studying for that purpose, like what blockchain technology they can use, like, different, because there's different chains, what chain are they going to use? So they've already been researching it. So to me, it's just literally a bunch of BS. And I really think the reason why the Biden administration is pushing this is because what's happened, because the conflict with Ukraine and Russia, because they're upset that you can go ahead and that Russia is able to undermine US sanctions with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, which I understand that argument. But at the same time, that's part of decentralization. You don't get to tell me what I do with my money. I don't get to tell you what you do with your money. And even if we're enemies, it doesn't work that way. That's not the way decentralization works. But the United States has to be in everybody's business. And they don't want to lose the dollar's power, because all the stuff that's happening with Russia, which I have a couple questions for you in a little bit, but Russia is like, they don't care. They're going and they're doing their thing, and they literally don't care. I feel like a lot of people don't understand Russian culture, and they don't understand what's going on. And if you provoke somebody with a specific culture and you fail to understand their culture, then they don't care. Like, it's very... It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So all I know is President Trump was able to kind of subdue Putin for a little bit, but I don't know why there's an issue now. So.
So basically, the government is concerned because Tether is their main direct competition. Like, so they wanted to basically Tether and the other USDC coins will be replaced probably by this CBDC.
Yes. So okay. So there's two. Actually, I'm going to pull up so you can see the market caps of this stuff because I want to show you. I want to show the audience. Oh, I can't share my screen. Okay. There's a website. It's called CoinGecko. Go ahead and pull it up so the audience can see it. And I'm going to go over a couple things on here so that
You
they
send me the
can.
link?
Yeah, I'll send it to you in DMs.
I'm in CoinGecko right now.
You're in CoinGecko?
Yeah.
So you can see cryptocurrency prices by market cap.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now we have USDC, which is USD coin. That's a stable coin, and it's currently marked number 5 as far as market cap goes. And Tether used to be up real high here. I don't know what happened to it. What the heck? I was going to do a really great comparison, but okay. So then we have Binance BUSD, which is also a stable coin. That's marked number 12. We also have Terra USD that is marked at number 14. Where the heck? Oh, and Tether's number 3. I'm sorry, excuse me. So they're basically concerned at like the Terra stable coin we have, the Terra Luna stable coin. Well, that has to be a separate conversation because there's some shady stuff going on with that. Terra Luna is a great project, but the way they raise funds for their stable coin is kind of shady. But basically, the top 4 stable coins are Tether, USDC, BUSD, and Terra or TUSD now. So they are just so concerned with these stable coins because these are multiple different stable cryptocurrencies that don't fluctuate with price because they're backed by these other assets. And so that's what they're worried about. And that's what they're concerned about is really getting control. And we are going to get a US digital dollar. It is 100% coming. But I think that they really have to be careful how they release it because anytime you do anything on the blockchain, it's all public unless you're using a privacy coin. So if we have a stable coin that is super transparent, you can see everything that's happening. When government gets a contract, we can track the address. We can track their spending. We're going to be able to see whoever's spending. You might not know that it's them, but you're going to be able to track and pull it because blockchain analytics don't lie because it's all immutable. But at the same time, too, like with Ethereum, for example, I have one Ethereum address that is linked to wendyo.eth. So all somebody has to do is to go to like Etherscan, type that in, and they'll be able to see all the transaction history that occurred on that chain. So you can actually go ahead and sign names to the blockchain addresses that you have. So they have to be very careful what they do and how they implement this because everyone's gonna be able to see their dirty laundry in their business.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you how do you feel about what Coinbase did?
With the sanctions?
Yeah.
They have to comply. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and people might get mad, and I don't care. If you are a centralized exchange and you are operating in a specific region, you have to comply with local laws and regulations. Coinbase has been working with the United States government to do all kinds of stuff for years. Like Coinbase they are the most unethical people in crypto. Like they completely go against the ethos of Bitcoin and against the ethos of crypto. They're literally grifters and they're only there because they're ivory tower Fs and they want money. So the fact that they did that, does it suck that they did it? Yes. But at the same time, they're legally obligated to do so because they want to continue to operate in the United States. So people that think that centralized exchanges are a good thing to use, they're not.
I disagree.
Centralized exchange?
I disagree in the part where you said they're legally binded to sanction Russia.
Oh no, the United States. Okay, Coinbase has to comply with what the United States is telling them to do. They're legally obligated.
No, they're not.
Why?
They can operate in a foreign country how they see fit.
Can they though?
Yeah, just because you operate in the United States doesn't mean you can't operate in another country.
But what if there's sanctions?
What might be happening is there's probably people who are cronies with individuals in the government at Coinbase who have said, okay, this is what the homie's doing, we'll oblige, but they are not legally binded to do so.
Okay, see, I thought that they were legally
obligated. I don't think so.
Unless I'm pretty sure because I've been watching.
Let's see. It says Coinbase Monday said it's blocked 25,000 crypto wallets belonging to Russia. Crypto exchange says it will comply with sanctions. It's just complying with the sanctions. Coinbase CEO said crypto is a lifeline for ordinary Russians and won't preemptively ban them. It said it blocked 25 accounts linked to Russian users that said it believed that were involved in illicit activity. So it's not everyone.
Okay.
It's just the accounts
Okay.
with illicit activity, and said it's stepping up its efforts to comply with Western restrictions. But yeah, I don't know blocks over. So let me think about this real fast. Technically, you can do business with crypto in foreign companies. Let's see how this works. The problem is the bank, right? Like, if your banking partner will connect to Russia, a Russian banking partner, right? There could be some legal restrictions, but I think it's different if, like, let's say Coinbase had a headquarters in Russia and there was like Coinbase USA and Coinbase Russia, then there's nothing the United States could do about that, right?
Right.
Yeah. But I don't think that's how they're set up.
No, and that's the thing is, like, I've watched other CEOs like Sam from FTX. He said, like, if the United States, that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother topic, because they were one of the top donors to Biden's campaign. But that's a whole nother topic because I don't have all the information in front of me and the numbers. But if you are operating in a certain country and there's sanctions or there's laws and regulations, and you want to continue to operate in that country, to do business in that country, you do have to listen to what they say.
Yeah.
Then because essentially crypto exchanges, centralized exchanges, they're like banks unless you're utilizing a decentralized protocol. And that's why when people are talking about, Wendy, what's the best, how should I store my crypto? I'm like, a paper wallet. Print both of them out, get your keys, put them somewhere, store them somewhere safe, whatever it is. But you need to put them somewhere safe. And that's why another really great feature is Samurai Wallet, because it's got the Wasabi feature, I believe, in Samurai Wallet, and it mixes the coins for you, so you can't tell. So basically, the way it was explained to me, if you have one gold piece and you chop it up into 20 pieces and you throw it and you mix it in with other gold pieces from somebody else, you can't necessarily tell where these gold pieces came from. It's going to be super, super hard.
Yeah, I did that with my Bitcoin this weekend.
It's important.
Yeah. You wash it. Cyprian taught me how to do it.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, just as long as, you've paid, I have to say this, but as long as you paid your taxes and did your business, I think there's no issue doing. I don't know. Speaking of we'll come back to speaking of taxes. I'm so pissed. I owe so much money for taxes. I have spent $10,000, I think, so far on my current CPA, because the last CPA that was hired didn't do things correct. They're supposed to move my LLC to an S Corp. They didn't do that. They try to blame it on me. And I'm like, I paid you $1,200 to do that. F you guys. And so now I can't file as an S Corp. I have to file as LLC, and I have to pay all this extra money. So I'm going to owe like a lot of money. And I was crying.
Government's thieves, man.
It's like, it was terrible. I had a breakdown. I had to call Miss Nita. It was absolutely, there's a lot of other stuff that happened too. But I was just like, what the fuck, man? It's so terrible. And to me, it's crazy because let me tell you something. So we went to Orlando to look at properties. I absolutely love it there. Let me tell you, when we were in Orlando, in Florida, we went to all different parts. I ate alligator jerky. Like, we went to the boondocks everywhere. I ate alligator jerky. There was no trash anywhere. I didn't see any trash in Orlando. I didn't see any trash at Coco's Beach. I saw maybe 2 homeless people. I saw 2 cops pushing a lady in her car at like 10 o'clock at night, helping her. It wasn't loud. It wasn't drama. It was nothing. It was so much different than California. And the amount of money that we charge in taxes here, you would think that we would be super clean. The roads would be perfect, everything. It's not. Like, what are these people doing with their money?
Where is this?
California. Orlando.
Oh,
Cali.
Orlando?
Orlando was super clean. It was perfect.
Oh, like, yeah. Well, that's tourist area. A lot of money gets pumped in Orlando. Orlando's like super clean.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But all of Southern California.
That's all Disney money.
Right. But Hotep, I live in Southern California. I'm like 30 minutes from Disneyland, 30 minutes from Knott's Berry Farm.
Disneyland, that don't count.
It was the original. I have Six Flags. I've got all these amusement parks here. Six Flags
is the hood.
I never liked Six Flags.
Six Flags is ghetto, and Disneyland is ghetto as shit. It's the fake Disney World. It's the first one, but it's ghetto as shit. It just is. You tell your kids, hey, you want to go to Disneyland or Disney World? They're like, Disneyland? What's that?
Well, you're bougie because we never been to Disney World. We're gonna go eventually, so that's like how we're trying to sell it to her. But it's just like the whole tax thing is a mess. But basically, coming back to the Biden thing, it just like literally, it's like these people just waste time. Like, why wasn't this done years ago? Why?
What? Why wasn't what done years ago?
Why did we need this bill? Why did we need all this drama today? Because that's what it came up.
Well, because they can hide it. You know, they always like to have these events that they hide it under. So they're hiding it right now. This is hidden under Russia, right? So everybody's distracted by Russia. Nobody's paying attention to the CBDC and electronic coin that's going to come and enslave the entire population to their new stable coin, blah, blah, blah. So they have the perfect cover to get this stuff passed through. And also, like, the funny thing is the government is actually going to be ahead of the people in this case, right? So, like, we understand crypto. It's just very small. We're like the 1%, right? The people who are in crypto are the 1% right now. So we understand crypto. Once the government understands crypto, then they impose it upon people. People will be forced to understand crypto, and they'll be late to the game. So I'm actually optimistic for myself. Because I'm like, oh, I'm still early. I beat the government to it. But once the government understands this thing, everybody's going to have to be involved in it. So everybody's like, oh, crypto's a scam. Da, da, da. Like, yeah, well, you about to get scammed out your money from the government soon. So you better get get you some Bitcoin now. Because if you don't diversify your wealth, they're going to take it from you. Let's just be honest. Especially if you're like a right winger, a freedom trucker. They're just going to turn your wallet off.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's on a centralized exchange, it 100% can. But if you have it like paper wallets and you mix it and like you're safe, you should be fine.
The CBDC coin, they're gonna snatch that shit.
Oh yeah, the CBDC coin, 100%.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
no matter
100%.
Where you got that, they're gonna be able to turn those coins off. No matter how many different fragments you make, they're gonna be able to turn those off anytime they want.
Who the hell wants to mix that shit anyways? Would.
Right.
It's just
you won't be able to. You won't be able to. It won't even make sense to because their blockchain is not even public.
It's going to be interesting to see. It's just the whole thing is really upsetting. And a lot of people are like, Wendy, you're so pessimistic. I'm like, no, I'm literally trying to I'm telling people like my personal opinion, what I think is going to happen. Like we do need regulation, but now like we have people.
We need regulation.
Hold up. Let me finish. Listen. I don't want regulation for crypto, but at the same time, all these bitch asses are whining and complaining. I got rug pulled. I put my money here. I lost my private keys. Fault. I did this. I bought this because you said it's like people in crypto are the biggest crybabies. And what the thing that's so upsetting about it is it's like you want decentralization, you want a true decentralized economy, but then you're blaming other people for your actions. Crypto is still hard to use. And the fact that you figured out how to open up a Coinbits account, put some Bitcoin on there, then transfer it out to whatever exchange, convert it into Ethereum, put it on a MetaMask wallet, then go to Uniswap or 1inch or whatever it is. That takes a lot of time and it's complicated to do for most people. Yeah. The fact that you took all that time doing that, but then you're going to blame your poor financial decisions on somebody else tells me you're educated, but you're lazy and you need to take responsibility for your actions. Absolutely. So if people want to have their damn regulations, give them the damn regulations with the SEC. I don't need it. I can take responsibility for my actions, but that's because I'm from the streets and we do things differently there. But everybody was regulated. Get your damn regulation. So most people, they want it because they're too big of pussies to deal with it otherwise. But
people wanted to take this. Let's be honest. This is the same argument that Alexander Hamilton made when he advocated for a central bank. He said people can't be responsible for their money, so we have to baby them, which is absolutely absurd. But that's the same argument, and I'm not with it. You have to allow people the room to make mistakes and learn and grow. And then that's how you mitigate the risks. You just have to learn. There's a million ways to scam people out of their money. And you can't regulate all of it. So I believe there should be no regulations. We have a noob in the chat, and the noob in the chat asked this question, and he said, can you buy a house with Bitcoin? Would you like to answer that?
Yes. So very interesting stuff that's happening in regards to cryptocurrency and real estate. There was, if you own a home, and it's probably easier to do if you own it in cash. You can list it for whatever, you can sell it whatever you want. There's actually a listing in Florida. It was a lakeside property. And I believe they were selling it for 1,200 Ethereum, which was like $3 million. And it was on the Zillow listing. So there was a woman that posted this on TikTok. She's like, what is 1,200 ETH? Like it was a real estate agent. So I stitch it and I explained what it was. for her and her husband because they had no idea, like, what is this? Why are they doing it? But Zillow has no place where you can put in like for sale for crypto. Like you just kind of have to put it in because the way they had it listed was $1,200 because there's no place for crypto, but you 100% could buy and sell a property for crypto. It's going to be a little bit more complicated, especially on the lending side. And I actually went on an AM show to talk with the mortgage mom because she does lending and they're starting to integrate crypto. But you can, as far as I know, and again, you have to make sure you talk to somebody, an expert in your local neighborhood. But again, as far as I know, you can have your Bitcoin and use that as a means of funds or a proof of funds to an extent, because it's kind of like an investment, and you can even cash it out and use the cash. But at the same time, you're going to get tax liabilities. But some lenders are actually going to be able to utilize Bitcoin, and I think some stable coins in the future. So they're working on it, but there's still a lot of hurdles they're facing.
So there was a buyer who bought, I'll pull this up on the screen here. It says the Miami Beach home. This Miami Beach home is the most expensive ever to be bought with cryptocurrency. This was sold for $22.5 million last year, in crypto, actual crypto. This is a beautiful home, by the way. This is like absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'm not sure what coin this was, but if I took a guess, I think this was purchased with Bitcoin.
Probably.
Yeah, it was probably bought with Bitcoin. So, the individual who asked, I don't know if he was being sarcastic or what, but it was definitely a noob question. So I want to answer it as kindly as possible because I don't want to be the guy like, oh my God, you don't know you can buy a house with Bitcoin. But I also don't know if he's being a dickhead because some people ask questions like that, being a dickhead, like, can you buy a house with Bitcoin? It's like, yeah, you can buy pretty much anything with Bitcoin. Like, the thunder sound, he said digital borderless was always coming. Cash is supposed to be taxed every jurisdiction it passes through. The internet passes through everywhere. Jimmy Doss, Hotep, thank you. He says, I love this collaboration. Nothing to do with topic, but I appreciate y'all. Thank you, sir. B Weezy Bird. Crowder said Biden killed crypto and supported the Biden digital coin in today's streams. We are really the 1%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Biden hasn't killed crypto, and he's not going to be able to.
So the thing about this bill but the executive order, the reason why we saw that beautiful market run up, like I was expecting a decent run up, not like what we saw, because that's what the charts were telling me. But because this legislation or this executive order that they put through is like super mild and it's just kind of like vague, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. That's why people are excited. And I think a lot of people are going to enter the market now and because they feel like they're going to miss out and they're going to hurry up and buy and trade and do all this stuff with crypto because they think that there's going to be problems coming in the future because there's actually no regulation. And I do think like people, Elizabeth Warren first got mad at Bitcoin because she says it's dangerous for the environment. But President Bukele from El Salvador proved her wrong because he's literally utilizing the volcanoes in El Salvador to mine Bitcoin 100% safely and with geothermal energy. And now she's saying that Bitcoin is a threat to, I think, Ukraine or she's saying it's a threat or something because of the conflict that's going on in Russia and Ukraine. But realistically, she's neglecting the fact that people that are in support of Ukraine were able to donate like $28 million via crypto to Ukraine for those efforts. Right. So it's like she's picking and choosing what she wants to do. And she's old. She needs to get the hell out of office.
My question is she manipulating the market?
Who, Warren and Biden?
You have to. It's definitely a take you have to explore. Because when they speak, markets react. When Congress speaks, markets react. So I always wonder, like, are these people uninformed or are they informed and manipulating? That's what I'm.
Well, I'm gonna let me send you something. This is my friend. You should follow this account. It's a friend of mine, Unusual Whales. I'm gonna send you his tweet. He posts really, I don't know what the hell, where he gets all his information, but it's really good stuff. But basically, if you want to show the audience, but this happened.
Oh yeah, I saw this. Before their run-ups and general discussions on banning Russian oil, many are on committees privy to private information, including defense and energy. Many had not purchased energy plays before. Marjorie Taylor Greene here bought American oil stocks, war stocks. I think this is Lockheed Martin. Renewable energy stocks. One day before the invasion, and was also tweeting war and rumors of war is incredibly profitable and convenient. Robert Whitman bought Virginia Fox, Mark Green. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
There's supposed to be a bill that's passing that's not going to allow politicians to trade, and they should not be able. Honestly, if you're a public servant, you should not be able to invest. I don't care. But the thing is they're always going to find a way around that. And it's just it's honestly very upsetting because these guys, it's literally insider trading that they're doing. And on top of it, the fact that this executive order got leaked is 100% market manipulation, because Elon Musk, didn't he get in trouble for saying something was it Joe Rogan, where he said something price pumped with his stock, and he got in trouble. But it's like, this happened, and because this executive order was non-threatening, that's why price pumped is literally market manipulation, because you're dealing with an asset that it has a controlled supply, that has a finite supply. So of course the market is going to be easily manipulated to an extent.
Correct.
So that's just my opinion on that, of that whole thing. And so remember how I said last week that I thought Ukraine was going to issue a stable coin as an airdrop?
Yeah. They canceled that.
That whole situation is weird, because who the hell, how are you at war, but you have people there's just a lot of things with that. So that's weird. But then they came out and they says that they're not going to be airdropping a coin or excuse me, not going to be dropping a token, but they're going to be airdropping NFTs to people who donated.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
But it's like, who has time for that?
Well, I think what they said was there was some scamming going on. With the original fundraiser, there were individuals that were pretending to be Ukraine, and people were sending Bitcoin to the wrong fundraiser. They actually created another token, and people started sending that token or something like that. So they said, all right, well, NFT, non-fungible token, you can't make that fugazi. So they said they're going to issue it based upon the NFT instead, which is smarter.
Why do you need to give people something back for donating? They should be donating because they support the cause, not out of greed.
It's not that. It's a receipt.
Okay.
That's all an NFT is. It's just like a fancy receipt.
Kind of, but at the same time, you can trade them.
Yeah, but it's still a receipt. That's all it is. It just says, I bought this.
I guess.
And this is when I bought it. That's literally what it is. That's what an NFT is.
It is, but they have...
It's a receipt.
It is a receipt, but you can utilize smart contracts and do more stuff with them, not just act as a receipt.
Like what?
Well, you can have different, you can distribute royalties. You can do different licensing rights, all different kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But you still have to have that receipt.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to have proof of ownership, right. And that's via NFT. So
yeah, exactly.
So there's just some things that are it's just a mess. Honestly, people are ridiculous. I'm just over it. This week has just been a mess. And I actually wanted to, I have I want to talk about the gold digging topic, because that's super important, because I watched a video and I was like, oh my God, this makes a lot of sense. Do you want to talk about the gold digging?
Let's talk about it.
So the guy said, it was actually, he was a gay guy that said it. And he is a very outspoken, red-pilled gay guy, black gay guy. Super, super outspoken. He's really big on TikTok. I think his name is Christian Walker, but he did a TikTok. Do you know, have you heard of him?
Continue.
But he actually, hold up. He made a TikTok saying that women, the term gold digging doesn't really exist, because women are supposed to stay at home. They're supposed to cook, to clean, raise a family. And in return for that, the man provides. and the man pays the bills. He takes care of everything financially. So realistically, a woman is always looking for the best provider so they can stay home and cook and clean and be a homemaker.
Yeah. Okay. What you about to say?
No, I'm just saying that I don't like, and it actually resonated and made sense. So I don't know how you like, there are some women that are literally out there to just take your money. But realistically, a woman wants to be with a man that will financially support the family and the household. So she could be a stay-at-home mom, cook and clean, tend to the household while he goes out and works. So we want to make sure that we're with somebody who can support us in that aspect.
Every woman's a gold digger. Okay. But every woman is a gold digger. It just depends on to what degree. Is it healthy gold digger or toxic gold digger?
Okay.
Right.
I'll get behind that.
But Christian's right. Like, man is supposed to provide and women are looking for the best provider.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if there are things, for example, let's say you're not the best provider. Okay. I was dealing with this issue earlier. I was talking to my homie about his little brother and shit. And the little brother goes to the gym. He's, got all these big muscles and whatnot, but he's insecure as hell. And he's dating an IG thotty. You know what I mean? A little IG baddie. And I'm like, yeah, that's not the right girl for him. He should probably stay away from that. It's just problems. But his money's not right either. So it's like, yeah, your muscles is going to get you in the door, but they're not going to make a woman stick around. At the end of the day, she's hypergamous. So she's going to be going to somebody who's going to provide. So she's looking at you. She's looking at your Instagram account. She's like, your Instagram not popping. Your body popping. You got muscles, but your Instagram not popping. I can go get another dude with muscles whose Instagram is popping and got a little bit of bread. Mm-hmm. At the very least, you still have to have some sort of security, right? Because a woman relies on a man's security for her own insecurity. For the moments that a woman is insecure, she looks to the man to provide some sort of security. Because women are just naturally insecure. So if a man is insecure, why are you making that face?
I'm built different.
Jesus fucking Christ. This the same person that goes out to get Botox every 2 weeks, talk about you ain't insecure. Kiss my ass, Wendy O.
It's every 4 months.
Jesus fucking Christ. Like I said, women are insecure for the most part, except for Wendy O. She's special.
Because I'm from the streets. That's why.
She's from the streets. Jenny from the block over here. Wendy
the only thing I need a man for is to come tell me, to say, I'm proud of you, to give me a pat on the back every once in a while.
There you go.
And to
emotional support.
And if I have to press a dude that's bigger than me to take care of that, to just be like, you need to go. Right. That's what I need a man for. I don't need a man for nothing support. Else.
Right. So what a woman believes is if a man is not emotionally secure, how can he provide her emotional support?
That's true.
Right.
Well, there's some men that are emotionally insecure, but they're like cucks. So they're super emotionally insecure, but at the same time, they'll build a woman up to make up for their own insecurity, but they're more feminine men.
But the woman's always going to feel insecure in that situation. The building up that he gives her is all artificial. What she needs is something concrete to keep her built up. What she needs is you to build her up with silence. Your being has to make a woman feel secure. When a woman talk, I don't say nothing. I just give looks. Literally. And I teach this in my book. There's no you can say everything you need to say to a woman by the way you look.
Yeah.
Let's say she says, "Oh my God, the house is burning down," right? And you're just like, she's gonna feel secure because you're very calm. Now, if you're like, she's like, "Oh my God, maybe I should freak out because he's freaking out," right? So she's always looking to see how are you handling the problems, because I'm gonna be relying on you when shit hits the fan. But all women are hypergamous. All women are gold diggers. You just have some that are toxic.
Yeah, see, the term gold digger is kind of, I don't really like it because there are legit like gold digging women, but realistically, like we're just talking about a regular average like
No,
man
we're
and
talking
woman.
about gold diggers. Let's talk about real gold diggers.
Real gold diggers are absolutely terrible. I don't fuck with them.
The thing is that they prey on a particular type of individual. You see, you can't be a gold digger and mess with an RP dude. You can't be a gold digger and mess with a man who's a man. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So what they do is they go after specific simp targets. And they go after the simp targets who have a little bit of bread, and then they take his money. But you can never really gold dig off of a man who's hip to the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And to me that's toxic, because what you're doing is you're actually a predator, and you're preying on men, and you're preying on good men too. Like, these are nice guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who are like, I want to, I love you, or I want to do anything to make you happy, blah, 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 blah. Then you take his stuff, and then you leave the next week. And it's just like, damn, like, he just bought you a car. You about to leave after he bought you a car? Yeah.
See, I don't like that. It's sad. But like, why are these men so quick to hand stuff out?
They're simps. And they don't know any better. Every man begins as a simp. That's what we have to understand. First of all, every man begins as a simp. And what you have to do is you have to hurry up and get your heart broken. I had my heart broken at the age of 16. So thank God I learned my lesson.
I don't think all men are simps. It depends the household they grew up in.
All men are simps. All men start off as simps till they get their heart broken. And then they find out what women are really like. Until then, you either relying on somebody else, but until you experience the ruthlessness of a woman on your own, you will never get it. You will never, ever get it. Women don't give a shit about men. Women only care about what a man can do for her. Beyond that, they don't care. And they shouldn't.
Some of them, it honestly just depends. I don't like to generalize an entire group of people.
Generalizing is human nature. And when people say they don't like generalizing, I'm going to play a scenario for you.
Please.
Okay. You and I, we visit Bitcoin weekend. Okay. And we're hanging out in, I don't know, one of the little rooms where they're like giving a speech or some shit. All right. And a tiger walks in. Are you going to say, oh, I'm not going to generalize all tigers? Surely this tiger might be different. Or are you going to get your ass up and try to stay away from the tiger? Which one are you going to do, Wendy O? Obviously, you're going to generalize and say, okay, that's a tiger.
That's an animal. That's a wild ass animal. It's different from people.
It's not different.
It is different from people.
It's not different.
It is.
It's not different.
It is.
It's not different.
How? You're talking about a wild animal. Right. I used to find wild dogs on the streets and then bring them to the animal shelter.
All right. It's the middle
in the hood.
It's the middle of summer.
Okay.
It's dusk. The sun's coming down. You're walking down the street. It's about 90 degrees. You see a gentleman walking on the sidewalk with you with a black trench coat on and a black ski mask on. Are you going to go, oh, I'm not going to generalize this black guy. That's racial discrimination. And he's walking towards you on the same sidewalk. There's nobody else but you and him, and it's dusk, and you're on the way to your car. Are you crossing the street, Wendy O? Did
you say if he has a black trench coat?
He's got on a black trench coat and a black ski mask, and it's 90 degrees outside.
Yeah, if I see, I don't care what.
So you're generalizing.
If you're wearing a trench coat and a black ski mask.
You're generalizing.
That's some crackhead shit. That's a tweaker. That's what that is.
Wendy O.
If it is 90 degrees, because there's all these things. There's all these things.
Survival is based upon generalization.
You gave a specific.
Did you go to college?
I did go to college, and it was the biggest waste of time.
Did you take a psychology course?
It's some bullshit. Psychology is some bullshit.
Did you take a psychology course?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I did.
They teach you this in Psych 101. It's literally a generalization is literally A survival mechanism.
But can I tell you that if you wouldn't have given me a temperature, if you wouldn't have given me a temperature, I would have stayed on the street. But because it is 90 degrees outside, it's getting dark, and a man is wearing a trench coat and a black ski mask, it is 90 degrees outside. That tells me this mother effer is on some meth, because that's very common for California. If it was cold at night, if you just said you're walking down the street, you see a guy with a.
Are you going to give Lo general rules on dating when she becomes of age? Say yes.
Yeah, I'm going to tell her not to be giving it up.
What are those rules based upon? Generalizations.
I guess so. Why do you always do this? Why do you throw in all of these?
Argue me down, and I'm right.
You always throw these things in.
Because I'm right.
You're not right.
Don't try to debate me. I'm right. Life is about generalizations. Are there going to be anomalies? Yes.
Yes. My life is an anomaly. The whole thing is.
Okay. But we can't base life off of Wendy O, because there's only one Wendy O. There's 400 million people left in America that we got to worry ourselves about. If I tell my boys how to go about dating, I'm going to tell them, yo, majority's hoes is hoes. They don't give a shit about you. 90% of them. Go get you a boring chick without an Instagram account. That's what I'm going to tell them. This is generalizations. This is how you play it safe. Now, is there one Instagram thought that might be nice and loyal? Sure. She probably lives in Cambodia somewhere in a goddamn hut and somehow found internet. But outside of that one anomaly, it just doesn't exist. You have to use generalizations. Otherwise, you'll get caught up out here.
You're about to get yourself in trouble here.
Why?
I don't know. Because people would say, anyways, I need to ask you a very important.
I could never be in trouble. If my mama and my daddy ain't mad at me, I ain't in trouble.
That's true.
That's how I look at life.
All right. Can you tell me a little bit about Russia and the internet? Because that is going to directly relate to crypto to an extent.
Absolutely. Let's pull that up right now. We actually covered this on menoforder.com earlier. And I read your article today. You had an article I shared with the internet.
Goldsby wrote it. He's dope. He does really great work. He's one of my writers.
What was that article I shared from your website earlier? I think I got it in the email.
We did. We sent it. We sent an email out.
Yeah, I think it was from an email. But I shared it this morning. And I'll pull this article up on the screen right now. Russia disconnects from the internet. Let's pull this up. So multiple companies are disassociating themselves from Russia by pulling their products. Visa, MasterCard. Millions of Russian citizens have been dramatically affected by this new wave of cancel culture. To fight this, Russia has decided to move off the global internet entirely. Says the global internet is basically the mainstream of service. No later than March 11th, all servers. So March 11th and beyond, all servers and domains in Russia must be transferred to the Russian zone. And it says here, connected to a link here, Russia began active preparations for disconnection from the global internet. In addition, detailed network infrastructure and sites is being collected. Data and network infrastructure on these sites is also being collected.
So they're collecting the data from the sites in the United States or Russia, or Russia's connecting their own data.
I believe it's any data connected to anything in Russia.
Got it. Okay.
So it says here, because it says data on the network infrastructure on these sites is being collected, but sites is a very general thing.
This is the thing. Like, obviously there's going to be like that. I feel like Russia is setting itself up to be its complete own entity and be 100% reliant on itself. And that's kind of scary.
Well, they still got China.
Well,
and the Arabs. Don't forget the Saudis. Biden called the Saudis up and they were like, sorry, you have reached the wrong number. Please dial again. Did you hear about that?
Okay. I think so. I don't.
The
You know
Saudis
what?
ignored Biden. He was like, yeah, we need your help on this Russia thing. You're like, my name Bennett and I ain't in it. So Russia got the Saudis still as a potential ally, and that's a good ally in China.
I mean, who else do you need as an ally at that point?
Right.
I have a question. What does Africa do when all this stuff is going off? Because I feel like I don't know
how to answer that question.
Like Africa, because I feel like did they participate in World War I or World War II?
Okay. So World War I actually didn't have participation from Africa because the Ottoman Empire had already fallen by then. And the Ottoman Empire was like kind of like the last thing in North Africa to really like dominate.
Okay.
So yeah, there's really no participation because Africa by then was conquered. The British had already conquered. The French had conquered parts of the West Coast. The British had the British, German, Dutch had parts of the East Coast. And they did that by abolishing slavery. That's how they destabilized the region. They disrupted the trade routes because Africans had slaves. They had a different type of slave system. It wasn't like the slave system here where they were beating people. Like in Africa, like a slave could go free if they wanted to, right? It wasn't the same type of slavery. But what they did was they basically the Navy, like British had a really awesome Navy and completely won a lot of naval fights off the coast of Zanzibar, et cetera, et cetera. So so Africa was really destabilized economically, and then it was carved up into all these different nations. So the French, and the Arabs destabilized. The Arabs helped destabilize. Well, Arabs basically just took over North Africa, and then there's French, Dutch, English, and the German carved up the rest of Africa, and then now the Chinese are taking over parts of Africa.
Really?
Oh, the Chinese, hell yeah! When I was there, the Chinese.
Why don't we hear about this?
I mean, you got to be Hotep to hear about some of this stuff, or you got to be in Africa connected to somebody over there. But the Chinese had a club. Well, first of all, what happens is the Chinese set up infrastructure deals. So they basically say, like for example, in Tanzania, they say, local government, you don't have hospitals, you don't have any stadiums. We're gonna build hospitals, we're gonna build stadiums, we're gonna build schools, but as soon as you find some like natural resource in this ground, that shit's mine, right? So this is the type of deals that they're making, and one of them is for water, right? So they make these type of deals. Now, once they start building the infrastructure, that means they're not hiring local. Also, they're like shipping in labor. So Chinese laborers are coming to Africa, and then what they're doing is they're prostituting the Africans for the Chinese. And one of the clubs that I saw down there was called Facebook. Like the Chinese have no problem bootlegging your shit, as you already know. So they got a club down there called Facebook, and apparently there's like a lot of like sex trafficking that happens at this club or whatever. Yeah. So, and the Chinese are running the sex trafficking industry because their laborers need sex, right? Like, cause they're working over there. So and they even traffic in Chinese prostitutes into the area as well. They bring them with them. So you got China doing their thing on the continent.
Okay, but if the UK or whoever the heck came in to Africa, like conquered or whatever it did, why wouldn't they utilize the African people to go fight in these wars for more reinforcements?
The French did.
Okay.
The French absolutely have. I won't say they never did. They definitely have. In fact, you had part of the Moorish Empire was the French. They used them to round up the Congolese.
Okay.
You had Africans fighting on the side of British to conquer the next nation over. Absolutely.
You just don't hear about it in history books. That's why I asked you.
Nah, you're not gonna find that in your high school curriculum. That's definitely university level studies or Hotep level studies. Like Hoteps, that's like, You know, we studied that shit like, 20 years ago. At least I did. But that stuff we studied in the 80s and the 90s.
I guess I'm just very curious to me that like for the most part, like Latin America and Africa kind of like stay out of like all these conflicts for the most part.
Well, it's not that they stay out of it. It's just that they don't have the capacity to be in it. Even if they wanted to, they don't have the capacity to be in it. You got to remember, like, South America is, you ever heard about the book Economic Hitman?
No.
You got to go get the book Economic Hitman. Really, really good book. But basically, they got economic hitmen that destabilize these regions. For example, when we talk about Jamaica, like Jamaica is wholly a third world country because of the IMF.
Oh, the IMF is terrible.
Yeah. So like the bankers have already crippled the foreign nations. And the United States is just, it's crippled under the Federal Reserve. However, the standard of living, it just happens to be higher. And mostly because entertainment's our export and innovation is really high here, and there's still a little bit of capitalism, but most foreign countries have suffered from things like socialism and communism, right? And a whole lot of corruption, corrupted governments, drug cartels, right? And then you have like you'll have drug cartels that make deals with the United States, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So you have that type of situation. So you have the same thing even in foreign countries. You know, like Al Qaeda, we armed Al Qaeda, right? So when you have the United States like arming rebel groups in foreign countries, there's a reason why they can't ever do anything.
That's very interesting. I'm glad we had this talk because it's like that was something I actually never thought about, because you always hear about World War I, World War II, like all these things that happen. But then I'm like taking a step back and I'm thinking, well, if we're going to war and we're having all these conflicts, why don't we see, like, we don't hear about Africa coming into it. We don't hear about Latin American countries. We don't hear about Mexico or El Salvador or, whatever. I know the Latin American countries are a lot smaller, but still, like, you don't hear about them going in and going.
You got to look at where the U.S. bases are set up. U.S. got bases all over, military bases all over Africa. All over Africa, U.S. got military bases. U.S. got military bases all over South America.
But you know what? I know quite a few people in the military. Like, I have a lot of family from the military, and I've never heard of any, like, my cousin had to go into Somalia. I remember that, but I never heard of any of them get stationed in Africa or Latin America. Most of them were stationed in in Germany, in different parts of the Middle East, but never in Africa or Latin America. And I just was something I was curious about tonight.
Well, Biden bombed Africa twice, last year and a couple of weeks ago.
What?
Yeah, they got a bombing campaign happening in Somalia right now. Like, while everybody is looking at Ukraine and Russia, I think it was February 21st, the story was released that the United States was bombing in Somalia.
That's why I don't like the mainstream media, is because everybody, I'm being dead serious with you, because there's so many other conflicts that are going on right now. And I'm not taking away from anybody who's suffering or has friends or family that are suffering, like all the innocents. I'm not, but it's just so crazy to me that the mainstream media is able to get people so erratic and so like virtue signaling about one particular event when there's a lot of other events, especially stuff that's been happening prior to that event. And it's like, and I was reading some of the stuff that's happening, like with people trying to get from specific areas, like into safety, and like Ukraine's government is kind of being a little wild and picking and choosing.
A little wild. Did you see the other day? Hold on. Let's see.
I seen a lot of stuff, but I'm like,
you ever heard of Azov?
Azov. I feel like I have. But
the other day I saw them giving Azov a rocket launcher. I don't know if it was new, fake news, or what, but let me see. Rocket. It was a straight up bazooka. Here,
a
go
bazooka?
right here. Yeah, here, I'm gonna show you right here. I'm gonna put it on the screen. And let me put this in your chat. Copy link to tweet.
Okay,
Wendy O, where you at? Right here. Boom. Whoops. Here, look at that right there. It says right here, a shipment of NLAW grenade launchers and instructors from NATO countries arrived in Kharkiv. The Azov Regiment was the first to learn about new weaponry. This is from Nexta, the largest Eastern European media. So this is a verified account, blue check, right, with 900-something thousand followers. But this is Azov. You know who Azov is, right?
No, tell me. Oh, wait.
That's the Nazis.
Okay, I see the symbols. Okay.
That's the Nazis. So NATO just put a bunch of weapons in the hands of Nazis. And they're the first ones to get these weapons. Allegedly. Let's say allegedly. Because I don't know if this story has been confirmed and all of that shit and whatnot and peer reviewed. But as of right now, as of March 8th, that's what they are saying happened. Azov. Nazis. So again, you might ask yourself, how is it that you have a Jewish president, a Jewish leader in Ukraine, but they're arming Nazis?
Right? Trying to rationalize that.
Exactly. It's the same thing when we armed Al-Qaeda and then we turned around and said Al-Qaeda is a bad guy. So what we're going to do is we're going to arm these people. We're going to use them against Russia. And then once they're done, we're going to go in and invade and say, oh, my God, Ukraine is Nazis. We have to do something about the Nazi problem. And then we're going to go attack the same people who we just armed. That's my prediction, at least.
So I'm going to go to Africa.
What part?
I don't know. I want to stay away from all this stuff. Go to Africa or Latin America. I want away from all this.
Yeah, I was thinking about going to a foreign country until the gas prices came back to normal. Because this is ridiculous.
It's bad. It's like $5-6 out here. In some places, like in certain areas of LA, it's like $7. It'll be $15 here soon.
Yeah, this shit is dumb, man.
And it will absolutely destroy all of the small contractors in California. Absolutely decimate them. And you know what happens once? First off, the small contractors don't even get to bid on government jobs, because all the government jobs in LA County, those go to family and friends of the people that are elected. And they have these bids, and I think it's called a no bid. It's something like that, to where these bids are only get sent out to certain entities. It's not open to the public. If you do want to be a part of one of these entities, you have to have like super ridiculously expensive insurance, which nobody can afford. Only these companies can, because it all runs through. But the bids are for, if a job is going to only cost $1 million to do, it'll normally, they'll push it up to 10 million to get these bids out to these guys that are contracted with the government, as they're better contractors. And it's going to completely shut out the small guys. And it's going to also drive, if the small contractors go away, it is going to drive up the cost to get stuff done. So you want your toilet fixed, you need lights fixed in your house, you need any little work done in your house that maybe would have cost, a handyman would have charged you $50. It's going to be $500, because these guys have to eat, and they're not going to be able to eat with these high gas prices. And a lot of people don't understand. And this administration is pushing these electric cars and saying, oh, $40,000, everybody can afford it. And then they're saying, well, you just take a loan out. People go through cars all the time. But it's like, we got in this situation from taking loans out to buy cars in the first place, which a car is a depreciating asset. The minute you drive that thing off the lot, it loses value. So the fact that people still think it's it is when it's whoever's business. If you want to take a loan out to buy a car, that's your business. But at the same time, we are not taught in schools on how credit works and how, if you take a loan out, what's the interest rate, all these different things. So forcing American people to buy cars for $40,000 is absolutely ridiculous, when you can get a damn Honda Civic for $23,000.
F Google said Jorge Soros is blank and he worked with Yahtzees. That is correct. I see someone has done their homework. LimeWire.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Okay. I'm sorry. Because this is important, because I figured if I was going to ask about Africa, I needed to ask you, that you would know.
Oh, because I'm the black guy in the room.
No, because you're very educated in all. No, because you're educated in all these topics,
It's
and you're
because I'm
going to
black.
give. No, because there's white people in Africa too.
It's because you're racist.
Because you're sexist. It is Women's Month. How dare you call me this? How dare
See
you
how
call
fast
me the R
you
word?
see how fast they turn into feminists? Do y'all see how fast they turn into feminists? Y'all see it? As soon as it's to their advantage, they hop right on that feminist bandwagon. Y'all seen it live. What happened with LimeWire?
You used to use LimeWire?
Yes.
Okay. And your computer
Share and Napster, all of that stuff.
And your computer probably got some sort of STD by using LimeWire.
No.
How did your computer not die?
Because I was a computer geek. I knew how to
You're so privileged. If your computer did not get an STD from using damn LimeWire, you are privileged because you're tech savvy.
Nah, when you deal with torrents, you got to look at how many seeds there are. If that shit didn't have 1,000 seeds, I wasn't fucking with it. Or 400 or 200 seeds. If I saw something out there that had 10 seeds, I'm like, yeah, I ain't touching that shit. There's only 10 of y'all moving that product around. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I never knew. I just learned something new from the privileged man. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to look at the amount of people seeding that the files, the bytes for the files. And if there's a lot of people seeding it, then that's a good indicator that you can trust the file. So I used to look at the number of seeds, and whenever I saw 14 or 10 or 20, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna wait for another one.
Yeah.
Let me click this one. This one might be safe.
So what happened was
I downloaded music though. I never downloaded software from LimeWire.
Oh, could you?
Yeah, I think you could. You could download any file type, really, I believe. But I mostly search for music.
Oh, I just got music and I destroyed my computer. I think I have it somewhere. But anyway, so somebody, I think, bought the IP rights or something like that. They bought something. So now they're going to restart LimeWire, but they're going to utilize it as an NFT platform. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. I think it's cool, though. It's nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to eat off the branding, the nostalgia, the profile axiom. I get it. It's a branding thing. However, they would have been better off getting back into some sort of file sharing, right? That's where they should have stuck with, because it would have been on brand. They should have found another way to handle file sharing. I don't know what their funding is like, because that type of business could be kind of weird. But I'm sure there's a bunch of different ways you could have solved the problem with file sharing and competed in that realm.
I don't know. WeTransfer is the best way to file share, but it's not.
That's what I'm saying. You could have became like a WeTransfer competitor.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just thought it was cool and I wanted to bring it up. So what are you and Uncle Hotep talking about tomorrow night before we go?
Oh my God, everything, man. It's been a crazy week. We got a lot to talk about. Some dude shot somebody and no. What happened? Let me pull up the story. Cause this is wild. Cain Velasquez.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Is he the MMA fighter that shot the Chester?
Yes.
I'm 100% for that.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. And so he went down, right? He was denied bail, but other people get to walk around free. It's just that man deserves a trophy for what he did. He took one of these idiots off the planet, one of these weirdos off the planet that didn't need to be here. Actually, I don't know if he took him off the planet. I think he just shot him. I'm not sure, but yeah. So we'll be talking about that. We're gonna be talking about Biden's bitch ass. We got a lot to talk about.
They should have the USDC called "Let's Go Brandon."
You said what? The CBCC,
the CBDC, and because I think they have a meme coin into our crypto, and I think
they do.
Yeah, so they should have. They should probably have it called or Byron. That would be great. The hashtag.
Yeah, they're not hip. They're not hip. They're not cool. They have no idea what's going on out here. That's why they have to put together a whole team to study crypto.
I don't claim these people. They're not my people. I'm moving to Africa. That's all I know. After El Salvador. That's it. Well, I will see you next week. And then I should know more about Bitcoin Miami. I'm still waiting.
All right. Let me know if you got any events planned down there. I'm trying to get my networking on.
Okay.
Shout out to Rated Nation. He said, Hotep and Bill. Appreciate you, bro.
Bye, guys. Have a great evening. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, set alerts. Okay, bye.
Jimmy Das Hotep said, no electric tractors. Cost of each of my trucks is $1,000 in fuel every 2 days. I am choosing not to run. Thunder Sound said if crypto was around during early file sharing days, all these problems with the slow rollout could have been avoided. Word. All right, Wendy. See you next week, love.
Bye.